Before we start the show, I want to tell you about the sponsor of this episode, Play to Z. They are releasing an updated version of Ascending Empires. This is a 4X game that can be played in under 2 hours, but Tony, it has a dexterity element to it as you flick little discs across the table.
You are the last survivors of a human race, fleeing to a new galaxy in fear of annihilation at the hands of an unstoppable foe. But when you discover the ruins of a long-dead civilization, which is never a good thing in my opinion.
No, it's not.
Things start to change. An arms race begins, new technologies arise on ancient relics, all with one goal, ensuring that humanity once again will ascend to the stars.
You're going to flick your ships across the galaxy to discover and explore new planets, build outposts, cities, research facilities, and even star bases. And with this updated version, there's extra modules, a new neoprene mat, and some upgraded plastic miniatures. If you want to find out about this game, head over to playtozgames.com. Check out this game, Ascending Empires, and all their other games, and you can get 15% off of your order with code POD.
Papa, Oscar, Delta, POD.
For 15% off Ascending Empires and any other game in their catalog. And now, on with the show.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Hey y'all, it's time for Rolling Dice and Taking Names. In this episode, the guys review tales of Arthurian knights, video game champions, and Pyramido forgotten treasures. Plus, because we know you want more, there's a new Taste Buds featuring a new Dr. Pepper flavor.
Hello and welcome. We will try that again.
Nice start.
Yeah, that's how we start coming off of vacation, people. You just forget what you do. Just go with it. Now I've got something in my throat. Brought back a little bit something from my trip here. So, all right, here we go.
All right, here we go again.
Are you ready?
2.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's go for it. Do it.
All right. Welcome to episode number 346. Take me home, country roads, to a place where I belong. This is Tony.
This is Marty, and that's the old John. I was going to say Bob Denver. That's Gilligan. John Denver.
Yes.
What sports team uses that? Some sports team sings that at their events now.
Isn't it West Virginia?
Is that their theme song? Is it the Mountaineers theme song? It may be.
Maybe then Appalachian State. I have no idea.
It would make sense. It was somewhere in Virginia because he mentions Virginia, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All I know is that the gentleman on the cruise ship played that song every freaking night.
What?
Oh, it wasn't the best entertainment. There were some good ones, but there were some bad ones.
Oh.
So that's a job. See, you need to learn to pick up the guitar, and you could go on a cruise ship and you could sing in lounges on these cruise ships, and nobody will listen to you.
For years, I did the bar circuit, dude. I know nobody listens to you, and which is why I got really old really fast. Mm-hmm. Late nights, and nobody gives a crap, and only the ones that do are so stinking drunk.
Yep.
That they just keep yelling out songs they want you to play, and it's like, we don't play that. So.
Right, and he didn't play. He had maybe 20 songs, and after 14 days, they got old, and especially when you hear, and this is appropriate. I mean, I'm back from vacation, so please take me home, country roads. Oh, a Bread song. There was some. It wasn't If. It was the one. If I could spend another moment with you.
Isn't that If?
Is that If? I don't. If I could. It might be If. I don't know. And then, of course,
I don't know.
Of course, some little time.
If I was to ask Vanessa, she would know. She was a Bread fan.
Oh, so was Donna.
Really?
Donna loves Bread, as well as the band.
Boom, boom. Yeah, it's one of those bands. It's like, okay, you exist. I don't sit there and listen to your greatest hits or anything like that.
No, but everybody knows of some of their few songs. And I was like, oh man.
Oh my gosh, like Van Morrison. That dude's music will never die. It's played everywhere.
And I can't tell you one of them right now off the top of my head.
I could play you 8 songs. You go, Oh, yeah, I know that.
Okay. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, because I hear it constantly. Especially if it's on Yacht Rock.
Oh, did I ever tell you about one of the guys from Steely Dan? The two guys from Steely Dan. Main guy is, oh my gosh, I have forgotten both of them.
Really?
I'm sitting there singing Dan Fogelberg. It's not Dan Fogelberg. It's here's the thing. I can picture the guy's solo album.
Wouldn't it be Walter Becker and Donald Fagen?
No, Walter Becker's the one. Donald Fagen. See, I was thinking, that's where I was thinking. Oh, Dan Fogelberg. Donald Fagen, DF. So he was interviewed about yacht rock. There was a documentary being made about yacht rock music. And so they got him on the phone and says, "Hi, we want to make it, do a documentary about yacht rock." And he went, "Yacht rock?" He said, "Yeah, a lot of music that was big in the late 70s and stuff like that." And he hung up on him. Oh, so come to find out, yeah, he hates the term yacht rock.
Okay.
And I totally get it. So he came out later and explained why. He said, "I hate all these bands being lumped together under this genre when there's no genre to it. Steely Dan is not like the Doobie Brothers, is not like Hall & Oates. They're all different styles of bands. One's pop, one's jazz fusion and stuff, but they all got lumped together under this." So a lot of these artists really don't like that term at all.
I don't blame them. I mean, the only reason
it sounds pretentious.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And you're right. I did the Van Morrison songs, Brown Eyed Girl. Okay. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know Brown Eyed Girl,
And Moondance.
Oh, man. Oh.
See? I told you. If you see the songs, you go, "Oh, yeah, that's Van Morrison."
But the guy didn't do any of those on the ship. He didn't do any Van Morrison.
Wow.
No. Mm-hmm. What was the other one he always would do? Oh, Bread If. Oh, of course, there's always a Beatles song in the mix. But anyway, so, yep, I'm back. I'm ready to get this recording happening. What happening with you?
Oh, man, not much. I mean, when you were gone, we always had something going on within our group. There was traveling and stuff. And so we actually didn't get together a lot, our little game group, while you were gone, just to do other commitments. So when you got back, that was the first time we got together, actually, since you had left. Okay. So it's good to have you back to our weekly game nights, where we get to play the games that we talk about on the show.
Well, hopefully we'll be talking about a few of them here, maybe some that have appeared in the past. We talked about that, recently, how we got on a good roll here, constantly getting something done, like that. Don't want to lose that effort. I don't want to lose that steam that we got going on here.
Momentum?
I think that's trademark now.
Momentum?
No, I'm just kidding. People will know what I'm referencing.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, glad you're back. I know you was dealing with a little bit of a sinus infection.
Yep. Got a little sinus infection. So I'm going to be trying to hold the cough long enough so you don't have to edit it out. But if I can't, well, it is what it is.
Well, there's a cough button. You got a mute on your mic.
Oh, I do?
You can hit.
Okay. I'll have to hit that.
Well, you got a mute on your little recording device down there. You can mute a channel.
That worked well.
Oh, it's like, is he actually doing it? Yeah, y'all was. He said, "All right, so there you go. There's the dump button, the mute button, the censor button. So when you get ready to drop some language, you can hit that button and dump it." So yeah. Glad you're back. It is March. It is spring around here, even though it's not officially spring. Everything is blooming, and my wife Vanessa is dealing with allergies like crazy. So it's rampant. You have Bradford pear. So for those who don't know, Bradford pear is a major staple tree in this region, and it shouldn't be. They should all be
cut,
destroyed. It's one of those things. They look pretty, but man, they mess people up.
Yeah, they are terrible trees. They have short trunks that will split on you in a heartbeat. I know the airport around here in Charlotte had them lining at one time all the way down the fences. Yep. They've been cutting those down left and right. So I hate that she's suffering from that. So I'm telling you, just get you a little Zyrtec and you'll be good to go.
Oh, she's on everything.
Does it dry her out really bad? I mean, like she wakes up at night and she's like, "I can't breathe anymore." Okay.
Nope. In fact, she's having trouble with just getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So she actually, it may have turned into a light sinus infection for her. So she had to take some antibiotics. So yeah, we are in full allergy season here, y'all. And guess what? But the yellow pollen really hasn't hit yet. That's going to cover cover the cars pretty soon.
Yes. And then get out there and start washing some cars. But people are already mowing some grass. The lawns are turning up green. So I'm going to have to get the lawnmower out, get a little maintenance on it. Cleaned up the grill, getting ready for the grill season. So I'm ready to go. Let's bring on the spring. I'm tired of the winter.
I've already brought out the mower once, kind of getting a fresh start on the yard. It's been treated for weeds and everything, so we are good to go over here.
I think my weeds laugh at my weed treatments. They said, bring it.
That's right.
It's like, God.
Oh.
Yeah,
so while you were gone, I wanted to let everybody know I finished up I love reading the Arkham Horror books from Aconite Publishing. I finished up the most recent one called Forbidden Visions of Lucious Galloway by Carrie Harris. This is a series of books that's kicking off their brand new campaign that's coming out really soon called The Drowned City. This is where there's changes within the game. They're going to start rotating out old sets, kind of like they do with CCGs. They're going to rotate out sets, not make them available anymore. Power creep was getting so high that it was hard for them to make a balanced game anymore. So the idea is like, hey, as we go forward, we're going to say, hey, please only use these particular sets from these years. That way, the difficulty of the game won't get so insane and it gives people a jumping in point. So that's what Drowned City is.
Okay.
And so there's a series of books written about what's going on within the story of Drowned City. And I read this one, Forbidden Visions of Lucious Galloway, which is about a poet who is trying to decipher some old manuscripts, but come to find out those old manuscripts tend to make people go a little crazy because they were written thousands of years ago and they actually could potentially open a gateway, of course, in Arkham to let bad beings come into place. So the book is telling this story of this gentleman and this other historian that are working together for this. Now, I don't want to give too much away, and I like how it kind of sets up what's getting ready to come in the campaign. And I've already got the second book that's not necessarily a sequel to this, but it's still in vein of going on the same timeline, written by a different author. One of my favorite, Rosemary Jones. Got the book. I'm getting ready to crack it open this week. Anyway, Forbidden Visions of Lucious Galloway. I will say it is not one of my favorites that I've read from them. I've read many of their books. It was one of those things that was 320 pages. And like many movies I go and see now, I say they're about 20, 30 minutes too long. This book was about 75 to 100 pages too long.
Okay.
I think there was a lot of stuff going in the middle that really there's a lot of conversations, dude. It was just talking. And it didn't really move the story along. It's like, all right, let's get going. I want to see what happens. There's an interesting bad guy, a bad villain in this. And I really want to spend more time finding out about this villain, but I found more about the other guy. But anyway, so I will say it's an okay read. It would, if I was to rank them and people say, which one would I start with? This wouldn't be at the top of the list. But I am kind of a completionist, so I'm trying to go through them all. So I'm glad I read it. It is out now, Forbidden Visions of Lucious Galloway, from author Carrie Harris. Of course, Aconite Books has a lot of different books on a bunch of different IPs out there right now. So anyway, I'm glad I got through it and look forward to the next one, setting up a future campaign I will be playing in a few months from now, because we're actually, me and my friends, getting ready to start a campaign from the last release that came last year. And so I'll be telling a little bit about it later on in the future. So there you go.
All right. Well, I didn't read a single book on the boat, which my wife was quite surprised by. She says, "Do you not have a book?" I said, "Nope. My book's going to be the inside of my eyelids. I'll just take nap after nap." But I was looking, I was trying to find one. So we went to I know people are like, "Oh, you went on vacation." Yeah. But it was very interesting. We went to Corsica and got to see, Napoleon's birthplace. And thanks to gaming, I got to, understand some of the things they were talking about. We talked about the Napoleon campaigns, the Joaquin Phoenix movie. I saw all that, and then just interesting about how he is immortalized on Corsica. And I'm like, well, I need to get the Napoleon book. There's supposedly this really nice Napoleon book. And somebody goes, yeah, but I think it's like 10,000 pages or something like that. I still got to look it up. So, I'm ready. I'm ready to play some more war games after visiting Corsica. So we'll get those on the table.
Yeah, dude. There's a bunch of Napoleonic war games and a bunch of different types. So you find one you're interested in, I'm always up for something like that for sure. I know there's like the Hex Encounter type game. There's a bunch of different Napoleonic games. So yeah, pick one you're interested in. There may be one that's could be wrong. You know the blocks like Command and Colors. Yeah. There might be a Napoleonic version of that.
Well, there's a whole bunch of yeah. I mean that you can't. They've done all the expansions and it's hard to get the original. And then of course we visited some other I watched Patton so I could understand Algiers and things like that. I'm like, wait a minute. The Shores of Tripoli. I'm near the Shores of Tripoli. I've played that game. Everybody's like, why? Why is everything a game to you? I'm like, because that's what I do.
Because we like historical games.
Yeah,
so
we like
it's really
historical
interesting
games.
to see that stuff in context.
I know. And I went into a game store when I went last year too. And I came this close to picking up some Star Wars Unlimited Spanish packs.
Oh, that would have been cool.
I know, but I was like, yeah, but do I really need these? Nah.
Yeah. It's one of those things just like buy and crack one open just for fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when I wanted the ones for the Lord of the Rings, CCG, something about that. But yeah, that's okay.
You remember us trading online and trading internationally, and you had to make sure that what you was trading for was actually an English version of the card. And what was that called? Was that Mahatma's something?
Yes, it was
the name of
Gab.
the website.
It was something like Gab.
Yeah, so y'all, this was early internet when there was no really good way to trade stuff like that. And Tony and I found this website where you could put a wish list and a have list and press a button and it would sync up. Mm-hmm. And so you do these sometimes across the ocean trades, which was really cool to get a letter from somewhere in Europe with some cards and you send them something. It was fun.
And we were all in there. I was thinking about the trading groups where you were ranked on how well you did trades. So you would press that button to get them all matched up, and then you would go reference them and you say, okay, I can find him. He's in this group. He has good ratings. So there you go. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Back when things weren't easy.
Yeah, that was fun when you had to work for stuff like that as opposed to just going out to eBay or TCG Player, just ordering the singles that you need. So yeah, good times. Hey, last episode we had this really cool giveaway where we gave away general orders, and we did that by coming out to our Discord channel and just basically liking a comment. We got a bunch of people liking it, so thanks for all those that did that. And guess what, y'all? We have another giveaway. Last episode we did a review of East India companies, which we absolutely adored. And we're going to be giving away a copy of that because once I let the publisher know that we reviewed the game, they said, would you guys like to give away a copy? And we went, well, sure we would. And so here's the deal. Very simple. Go to our Discord channel, go to the contest section. I'll have a little line in there. If you want to be entered, US shipping only, they requested that. Just give a thumbs up. And I'll give your mailing information to the publisher, and they will send you a copy of the game. Now, Tony, while you were gone, we did have a game day, and we got together with Bert and Nate, and we taught him East India companies. Nate is a designer himself, and he loves looking at games and how they're designed and everything, and he adored this game. Yeah. He just thought it was really clever. It is a solid game, man. So we played it again, and we all had as much fun playing it this time as we did the first few times.
Yeah, that's one of those I'd like to also get to play again. See how it goes. Once again, because you got on me. Because I'm like, we're giving one away in the Discord channel, and you get to read the emails. No, I didn't read the email. So you're going to pick a name after. So when's the contest close? I'm sorry. I'm catching up.
I will have a date.
Okay.
It'll be about 10 days after this episode drops. I will put a statement, a way to enter the day this episode releases. Just go out there, join our Discord channel. You can find the link to our Discord channel on our website, rolldicetakenames.com. Give a thumbs up, and I'll just randomly pick one.
Okay. Well, that's easy. Anybody can do that.
That's the goal. All right. So, you know how we have nostalgia. We've talked in the past about things we did as kids that we're just like, there's no way they'd let people do that now. Did you ever have pencil fights in elementary school?
Constantly.
Okay. All right. Let's talk pencil fights, which I do not think exist anymore. So, y'all, what is a pencil fight? So, basically, lots of times we did this in class. We did this on a bus.
Hold on. Are you saying pencils don't exist anymore or pencil fights? Because I think pencils don't exist.
Pencil fighting don't exist. Well, does anybody really use a pencil?
I was going to say, now it's computer fights. Could you imagine doing this after you explain it with a computer? Everybody doing this with a computer?
Pencil fights. You bring into the challenge your favorite pencil, and basically you go compete against each other where your opponent will hold their pencil between their fists And basically, you take your pencil and pull it back towards like your chest and hit their pencil as hard as you can with the goal of trying to break it. If it does not break, it's your turn. You hold your pencil between your fist, and then they take a whack at it, and you go back and forth till the pencil breaks. And then there'll be somebody else who will challenge the winner with their own brand of pencil. So everybody had their own special pencils that they saved, especially for pencil fights.
You wanted the real rubbery pencils so that they would give when someone would hit it.
But the problem is they gave, so when you hit their pencil, it wouldn't do as much damage either.
Unless you notched at the eraser.
So you notched at the eraser. Okay.
Oh, we had all kinds of tournament rules, man. First off, when you say bring it back, you could never raise the pencil up. You had to just, you couldn't raise it. You had to flick it from one area straight down. Okay.
We're both doing this on camera, like y'all can see this. So we were the same way. You kind of almost like a catapult.
Yeah.
You pull it back and use your wrist and sling it forward down.
But you couldn't raise up and then slap it down.
Yes.
That was against the rules.
And you couldn't put your finger across the pencil to push down on it. You couldn't push down with your other finger as you flicked it down.
Now, when you say hold it in your fist, I'm assuming you made your two barrel fist.
Between two fists.
All right. So Charlotte Mecklenburg school rules were that they would sit make a chopping motion with your hand like that.
Yes.
And they would sit with your thumb on top of your index finger in the little cup.
Oh, like this.
Yeah, like this that y'all can see. It's basically where it sits in the crevice between your thumb and your index finger, and you clamp them down like that. That was official Charlotte Mecklenburg rules. And you were allowed to notch at the eraser head so that it could dig at the other person's pencil.
Okay.
And also, you couldn't have a short pencil. You had to have a fairly full-length pencil because people, if you go short, there's not that much to break. There was no give to it, per se.
Also, we had rules for gauges of pencils. You couldn't be bringing in this first grader big fat pencil or anything like that. Had to be a standard number 2 size pencil.
Number 2, what was the big brand? There was a brand we always had. I can't remember.
Was it yellow? I can't remember.
They were all yellow, but also a pencil. I can't remember if you had to have the pencils that had the hex sides, or if you could bring in a round one. So not the big fat ones, but just a regular pencil that was round. I forget about that.
Yeah. I remember all these myths where I remember one guy would wrap his pencil in aluminum foil. Supposedly it made it stiffer, and then before he would fight with it, he would take it out of the aluminum foil. And all of us believed him. That makes logical sense. I'm going to start wrapping mine in aluminum foil.
Yeah. Or somebody try to cheat and bring in the Scotch tape pencil that they would scotch.
Oh, yes.
That was not allowed. But, if you got caught, then you forfeited the match. That was big, definitely in the elementary. Of course, it phased out when you went to middle school. So, pencil fighting. That was great. And then when you grew up, you got mechanical pencils and all that stopped. But yes, I did plenty of pencil fights.
I also wrap around to what we previously talked about. We talked about all the stuff that you couldn't do as a kid on the playground. I heard a report on NPR the other day that in Kansas, there are schools that have introduced what's called risky play. So the things that we used to do on the playground, they are letting kids do again as an experiment to see how kids respond. Because after doing research, Tony, they come to find out, if you let kids be kids and they learned the consequences of their actions and they're able to test themselves physically, running, jumping, swinging on swings, they become more confident about themselves and what they're able to do. I went, no crap, Sherlock.
Yeah, really? Come on. I was reading that article that you have posted here on our notes, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I didn't realize it had gotten as bad as it is because, imagine that in the great United States of litigation where it doesn't matter what happens, oh my gosh, Johnny ran on a playground for 20 minutes and he tripped and skinned his knee. Oh, heaven forbid we're going to sue the school for that. You bunch of... Anyway, we'll move on past that. It's, going head first down a slide. Of course.
Yes, that has been banned, and they're letting them do that. A simple one of sitting in a swing and twisting around and around and then unspinning. And in the article it says, for example, if you want to swing on your stomach, go for it. If you want to twist, go for it. And if you get dizzy afterwards, that's a natural consequence. No crap, Sherlock.
Let the kids figure it out.
I mean, it's so funny that all these studies are showing, oh, well, maybe it's good for kids to understand, to face their fears and understand, I can't jump. I've tried that. I know I can't do that. Or they said there's also good for kids to help other kids, that encourage other kids. Hey, you tried. If somebody gets hurt, they pick each other up. It's like, again, stuff that had been around for decades, they got rid of, and they were, you know what? Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to get rid of all that stuff and just let kids be kids.
Unless they have to sign a waiver to allow them to be kids, and thus, I'm sure there is.
I didn't even know tag was banned.
Yeah.
They said, oh, you can play tag. I went, you couldn't play tag? I was like, what?
Yeah, tag, you picking on the weak. Imagine that. That teaches you how to run from a bear, you know? You don't have to run faster than the bear, just run faster than the person in the back.
Be faster than the slowest gazelle.
That's it. That's all you need to worry about. Someday we'll get back to it where I know things, okay, maybe some of the things we did wasn't the brightest thing. So what? You're swinging with your feet in the swing and not your butt. It was fun. Come on. Did you ever do that?
Swinging with your feet in the swing, but not your butt.
You're standing in the swing.
You're standing on the swing. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yes. And then you jump out.
Oh yeah, jump out. Oh, well, yeah, that'd be challenging. But yeah, jump out.
Well, maybe sitting and jumping out. They allow that. And why did we do that? Because we want to see who could jump the furthest.
That's right.
You make a line in the sand where you did it. Can anybody beat that? Oh, I can beat that.
Or watch some poor kid not be able to get his butt out of it and fall flat on his face, and everybody laughs. But we pick him up, and everybody
laughs and picks him up and says, "Oh, that's all right. That's life." Anyway, so I just thought that was so interesting. That's like, oh, we're just going back around to common sense, letting kids be kids. Speaking of common sense, actually has nothing to do with common sense. Tony, we got a lot of different drinks a queue of drinks that we want to try. The latest one that we're going to try is, well, let's just save it for the what it is when we kick off our intro to Taste Buds.
Taste buds. Two incredible stuff. Taste buds. Two incredible stuff. Taste buds. They're just a bunch of.
All right, we're back. It's I hadn't heard that song in a while. I miss it. So it's a great little ditty about Marty and Tony. All right, so what we have here is Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar. Okay. So, sir, what are your first initial thoughts on a blackberry Dr. Pepper?
As I said before, I am not a blackberry kind of guy. Ugh.
You are not. So you don't like blackberry cobbler or anything like that?
I do not. Raspberry and blackberry are not my favorite berries.
Too tangy?
I don't know. It's just something about the aftertaste of there's just something about blackberries and raspberries. I love strawberries. I love all kinds of blueberries, but those two berries, for some odd reason, they just don't hit me right. I don't know why.
Did you ever eat wild blackberries? You just find out in the woods?
Yeah.
Me too.
And felt it later at home.
Pooping out
once
seeds.
Again, risky play.
That's right. You learn. Okay, I probably shouldn't eat
I shouldn't have eaten that. I'm going to be paying for that later. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny.
Mom yelling at me through the door. What did you eat?
I wonder if kids even know how to suck a honeysuckle now. Anyway. All right.
Honeysuckle suck. Ooh.
Yeah. There's actually a bush near our house. I kind of do it every so often.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
Sweet nectar, baby.
Or trying to catch fireflies.
I still do that. We go out, and I go out in the yard and walk Taz in the summer. I'll just go grab one. Yeah. It's so funny how unscared they are. They'll just sit in your hand for a while and then eventually just fly away.
Yeah, or catch a firefly. It ain't a firefly. I remember doing that as a kid.
So it's interesting. Fireflies aren't everywhere. So my daughter-in-law, who grew up in the Northwest, had never seen a firefly till she moved down here. Oh. And she was all excited to see a firefly. And I just thought, how have you never seen a firefly? It's just one of those things you take for granted. Oh, we have this. Everybody has it. So the firefly or a lightning bug, I don't know which way. We used to call them lightning bugs. So basically are the little insects whose tails light up at night. I'm not sure why they light up. What's the purpose? I can't remember what the purpose of it is.
I don't know. I
think you're possibly right.
I don't know.
I'm not a biologist.
I have no idea. Oh, back to taste buds.
Dr. Pepper, established in 1885. Not this particular flavor, but Dr. Pepper was. All right. Blackberry, zero sugar. You ready to crack this can?
Yep, go for it.
All right, here we go. Oh, you already cracked it.
Yeah, I had to give some to Donna before I tasted this. So yeah.
Oh, it smells.
It smells really good. It smells like, what was the Mountain Dew grape one? Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Thunder.
Yeah. Not Tropic Thunder.
Thunder from Down Under. I don't know. All right.
Here we go. That's a strip show in Vegas. Or Australia.
That's pretty good.
It's good. I like that.
It's pretty good. You definitely get the berry.
Yeah.
More so than the Dr. Pepper. I mean, it's pretty strong berry, but it's not too overwhelming for you.
No. And it's Purple Thunder from Mountain Dew that you can get at the Circle K. This
is good.
This is really good. And it comes in zero sugar.
Ooh, I will be enjoying this the rest of the episode. Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Pepper, blackberry, zero sugar. We give it a thumbs up over here at Taste Buds. That's good stuff.
That's good stuff. Next time the drinks go on sale, I'll add that to the old cart when it's buy 2, get 3 free.
Dude, it's rare to find that crap anymore. I've been looking for sales on Mountain Dews, and it's like I'm having to buy like when they just are like $1 off. I can't find the good deals anymore.
I just have cases of it stored in the garage. So what can I say?
Smart. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoy that, y'all, because we got 2 other drinks that we're going to be trying out. I think it's 2. Yeah, it's 2 in the next couple episodes, and we'll see how this compares to a winner, Dr. Pepper Blackberry, zero sugar. Don't forget over at Miniature Market that the daily deal is back. They come up every day at 10 a.m. Central Time. You can always look for really good deals on that, and you got to just pay attention, y'all, every day, because lots of times this stuff will sell out really quickly. Also, I don't know if you know, they have a YouTube channel over at Miniature Market. You can find that on their website, or just search for Miniature Market over on YouTube, where they have playthroughs of a lot of different games that they get in. You can see how the game plays. You can see some of the people that work there at the store and in the warehouse and everything like that. They do a great job with that. And don't forget that it's now just $75 to get free shipping, which I take advantage of a lot. In fact, Tony and I are now waiting for our latest Star Wars Unlimited booster boxes to get to us, because I got to open some packs and sort some cards. And I know if I need to, I can go over there and order some binders that I'll be able to put those cards in, along with any sleeves or mats. So make sure to each week just check out the different deals they have over at the store. And again, that link is miniaturemarket.com.
Good sir, I'd like to tell you a tale, not of a sinking ship, but of a sword. A sword that you can pull and become king.
Look, just cause some watery tot distributing swords is no basis for a government.
I didn't vote for you.
You don't, but I'm king.
A dictatorship? An autonomous collective? No.
You're fooling yourself.
Are you suggesting coconuts migrate?
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. When we're going to talk about Tales of Arthurian Nights, the Monty Python Holy Grail quotes are going to be flying left and right, so just get ready for it.
And there's going to be one more I don't want you to say, because we have a story from it, and we will have to use the quote and then insert what actually happened.
Okay.
And you know which one I'm talking about. So, yes, Tales of Arthurian Nights, designed by Eric Goldberg and Andrew Parks. And Eric, of course, was part of the team that did Tales of the Arabian Nights back in, what'd you say, 2009 or something?
Came out in 1985 and redone in 2009.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This was published by WizKids, and when we were given the opportunity to, WizKids said, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" And this was a very pleasant surprise for us because, first off, I don't like flavor text. I get tired of it.
I don't like choose your own adventures typically.
Okay,
and this has a lot of flavor text and it's a lot of choose your own adventure. But somehow I enjoyed myself the entire time I sat and played it. The stories were entertaining. We were having a lot of fun. Is it strategic? Nope. Not at all.
None.
It is literally just an experience of having some movement points. You have some quests you want to do. You try to get to the location to do the quest. But I will say, Tony, I've never played Arabian Nights, so I didn't understand the mechanic of where you're supposed to go in the book. I think it's really clever how you have this board with had 2 numbers on the left. You draw a card and put it on that board, and then there's 4 sets of numbers, and it's based on the different colors of the cities on the board, and whichever color you're in, that's the page you turn to and read it. I just think that's really cool and gives a huge amount of variability.
Right. And then after you read that initial flavor text to give the person who's going there, they make a decision, and based on which way they choose to handle the event, takes you somewhere else in the book. And sometimes there may be just 2 choices, but sometimes there may be 3 choices. The gameplay is pretty straightforward. Pass the book to the person to your left, decrease your status on your status cards, because there are 27 status cards that come with this that may come into play as you adventure. Some of them can be that, accompanied.
Accompany, which give you like a permanent status bonus, or it could be something bad, like I was scorned.
You were scorned.
You earn 1 less destiny when you're scorned. So eventually you'll lose those. They're basically like status effects, right? One of them, who was turned into an animal?
That would be me, good sir. Go for the quote, right? Let's go ahead and jump right there. Go for the quote.
She turned me into a newt.
A newt?
Literally, you got turned into a beast because you failed.
I got turned into a pig.
Y'all, this was funny, y'all. A lot of the stories were really engaging. So, like I said, you move, you read, you resolve, and it goes on to the next person.
But I got better.
You're not fooling anyone.
Yeah. So this one story, we're going to go ahead and spoil it. So Marty's reading the book.
Oh my gosh, this is so freaking funny.
So I'm in this, like Marty said, I'm going to this location. Now, these encounters, there's 3 ages. And when you place the first age you're in, it'll tell you about what you encounter at this location. Another one is you may turn over a character. And when you do that, you turn over a trait for the character. So, for instance, I encountered a mad king. And that, like you said, with the encounters, that was brilliant. I'm going to turn over a card that just gives a description of a king that will lead me somewhere in a book, where later that king may be a very pompous king versus a very mad king. So I encounter a king, and he is talking to a pig. And I follow him back to his camp. Meanwhile, Marty's reading this, and he's having trouble keeping a straight face.
I am having trouble keeping a straight face. So he's having this conversation with this pig. It's like, what is going on? And he gets back to the castle, and then all of a sudden, there is a woman there, a queen, and then he's like talking to the queen.
Yeah, the pig's his queen until he gets back to the camp, and suddenly she's a human.
Geesh, what has just happened is like the queen being turned into a pig when she leaves, or some sort of. By the way, there's magic in this. There is magic involved. There's wizards and stuff like that. So weird stuff can be going on. So you progress and you're continuing to read the story. While all of a sudden this wizard comes in to sit down and eat with them, and they have their meal and everything. And at the end, the wizard gets up, and the queen and him go and talk together. And then he does a little hocus pocus. And the next thing you know, the king is ignoring the queen and then talking to the pig again as if it's his wife, for the main purpose so that the wizard and queen can go back to his tent and get it on.
That's right. And Marty looks at me and says, "What are you going to do about this? Are you going to try to convince the king, break him from the spell, or are you going to go confront the wizard?" Well, I'm playing bad. I'm playing mean. I'm going to go take on this wizard. So I go over there and encounter this wizard, and I go, you need to stop.
By the way, in the book, it says you catch them in the act of passion.
Oh, that's right. I did. I was embarrassed. and I can do 2 things. I can either try to, convince him that he's doing a bad thing, or I can try to take money from him. I'm going to hold leverage over him. So I choose leverage. You get to roll 1 die and do a skill check. Easy peasy. And in the book, it's telling you how to compare it. So, and tells you what traits to compare, because there are 12 traits that you can have at the start of the game. Everybody begins with 3 traits that it can either be set by the book, or you can pick to choose your traits however you want to. So I roll the dice, and I have an epic fail 1. Marty continues to read.
He was turned into a pig, y'all. And so now he has this card that indicates he's now a pig. And then after the next turn or so, that will go away and he'll go back to the form. So y'all, we were just having the best time reading these stories. And some of them are more serious than that, right? There's actually some intrigue going on. The characters are all different. Like Tony said, you're going to pick a character that you're going to play. There's some starting traits that you have. But as you take and complete quests or just do regular interactions, you're going to gain in those abilities. Maybe your magic moves up. Maybe your sword fighting moves up to give you a better chance to pass tests later on. So it has that character building thing like in a regular RPG, that over the course of the game, your character is just going to get better and better over time. So I like that of being able to develop and build your character. You've got a gorgeous board that's sitting out on the table. I wish the little standees were better. They're little small cardboard standees. I wish they'd have been big acrylic standees and make them stand out more, but it is what it is. And the book itself, wow, the book itself is this huge, like looks like a leather bound hardback tome. It just looks gorgeous. And it's one of these, you crack it open, you feel like you're reading from a big old tome. It's just, the production is just super top notch, which makes the gameplay even more fun.
Yeah, I was having a blast with it. I mean, you can play this single player to get the most Destiny points. You can play 1, 2, 3 ages. If you just want a quick experience, you'll play 1 age. If you want to play a longer game, it says 40 minutes to the player. And
shorter game.
Yeah, shorter game, a longer game. 40 minutes player. If it's the longer game, depends on how quickly you read and how much fun you have with it. If you're really getting into the stories, it's going to last. It's going to become, quote, an adventure for you. Or you can do a cooperative version, which, to be honest with you, I did not look into. I don't know how to do that because I knew we were going to play competitive just to have fun with it. I liked how the various tracks would move up. Now, you could, like, hunting was one of the skills. As you advance hunting, eventually, if it goes all the way to the end, that's the only one that can make it, can be the biggest, the best that you can do, right?
Right.
And so your skills, not all of them going to advance over there. So you've got to pick and choose which ones you want to do, how you want your character to progress, which may then help you decide how to battle various encounters. There are locations you can explore as well. Like there was, it was so funny. I pulled Orkney. I couldn't get there, but there was other ones that you could go, like some town.
We wanted to go to Camelot, but we decided tis a silly place.
It is a silly place, yeah. They serve spam a lot.
Now, what's also cool is there's this thing called the Grand Quest variant, which is like, it'd be cool for like co-op. So it's like multiple players working together towards this major quest.
So that's how that works. Okay, I didn't know.
So it's almost like getting together in an MMO, right? And it's like, hey, we're going to go on take on this big beast, but we all need to work together, sort of deal for this quest. So that's what these grand quests add to. I told Tony, I said, you know what? I think this is one of these things my family may like, Vanessa may like, because she would get into it playing it. It is super simple. The rules are really nothing. It's the experience. It's just sitting around with people, having a good time, laughing, seeing what people decide, how you're going to decide what decisions you make for your particular character. Do you make them more villainous? Do you make them more chivalrous? All that is built upon building renown in certain over the course of the game. And once you get high enough around, it increases your movement points. So you just see over time, you're just going to get better and better. And there's nothing stopping you from playing an age, and maybe you like what your character's doing. You take a picture of it, see what it is, and set it up, later on and play the second age or something like that.
Challenges the setup was, doing some of the encounter setups on the deck, but that didn't take me very long. I mean, especially if someone punches it out and separates everything out. There's 8 characters to choose from, but I don't see, you're supposed to play 1 to 4. I wouldn't try to push this game to go beyond that. I think there'd be way too much downtime if you said, I think we could play with 5. I don't think so. No. Yeah,
because one person's playing, one person's reading, the others are really doing nothing. They're just sitting there hoping to be entertained. There's really not much they can do on their turn. So there's really not a lot of player interactivity or anything like that. But anyway, I get why people really enjoyed Arabian Nights. I see the experience that kind of generated. Personally, for me, I like the theme of this one more than Arabian Nights. So I have the choice of the two. I know there's a new version of Arabian Nights coming soon. I would still prefer this one over that, just because I've always liked, the King Arthur era and all those stories and everything.
That's right. And you can quote some Monty Python right there.
Exactly.
So that is Tales of the Arthurian Knights from WizKids, designed by Eric Goldberg and Andrew Parks.
Neat.
It's merely a flesh wound.
Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Back in October 2023, Tony, you and I recorded a game called Pyramido. This is a tableau building game where you're building a pyramid and trying to score different color zones on this pyramid. A new version of this game come out. This is a standalone version called Pyramido Forgotten Treasures, designed by Carl Briere and the original designer of Pyramido, Iquan Kwan. And this kind of the same deal. You're drafting tiles, building a multiple level pyramid, and scoring those tiles. But the way you score is what's different, or activate that scoring is what's different between the first game and this game.
Right. And the original game, you were placing jewel markers. When you placed a tile, you had to place a jewel marker on that pyramid. And there were 6 of them, 6 different colors. And when you would place those jewel markers, you at the end of the round, at the end of the layer you built, you would count up, I placed the red one in this red area, so you would count the number of jewels. So that was the old game. And you were forced to do that when you placed a tile, if that jewel was available or that color that you had was placed. Now on this one, the big change. This is the big change, and for me, I think is one of the key changes that I really enjoyed is when you're drafting a tile. When you draft that tile, you also take a jewel, but you don't have to place it, and they are of the colors of the tiles, as well as a clear one, which is a wild color or a wild card. Let's go with that.
Wild gem.
Wild gem.
I think it's what. Yep.
Yeah. And then when you finish the level, then you go out and place the jewels you drafted. So not only are you trying to get the right tiles on your pyramid to link them all together, to link all the colors, but when you draft, you also got to be cognizant of the jewel you're taking, because if you don't get that color, it's going to be useless to you. So you got, there's the give and take with this game.
Yeah, and when you draft a tile, obviously you want the biggest contiguous same colored space, and those spaces have little gem icons, and you're basically going to count those up if you place the same colored jewel on there. If you can place 2 of the same color on there, let's say I'm trying to score red and I place 2 red gems on there, I'll double my score. You have that first level that you're building, which is a 5x4 grid, and then it's going to shrink each time to basically build 4 levels of colors. But if there's a color on the level above that matches the color on the level below, that all counts as one big contiguous area. And once you spend, or once you use these gems to score, they're discarded. So you're constantly having to not only draft the correct color of card that you want to get, you need to draft the correct color of gem so that you can activate that scoring. And by the way, those wild gems, it takes 2 of those together in order to make any other color.
There you go. This one versus the one we played back in 2023, Pyramido, just basic Pyramido. The reason for me that I enjoyed the new one was the additional challenge of drafting and strategy. When you draft tiles, you decide which ones to flip over, which one you want to flip over to give you 3 of the 5 piles. Then when I take one, then I get to decide which one I want to flip over next for someone else to go. It's very important to identify the gems that are with that so that you can force people to make bad decisions or they don't get to score. There's a lot to that. There's a lot of strategy, more so than the original.
Yeah, so the back of the tile itself, you know what colors are going to be on the other sides, and it tells you how many colors or how many gems are on the other side, but you don't know exactly where they're placed. And you can only draft, again, like you said, from the face-up tiles. But then you're left with that decision, which one will turn face up? And I do like that interaction too. Sometimes it wasn't necessary. I may turn up a face-up tile because I don't want you to get a gem from another one. Let's say you're getting ready to score a double big pointer, but you need maybe another blue. Well, I'm going to try to make sure that I don't make available the pile that has a blue gem in front of it.
Right.
And by the way, there's always 3 gems, and they aren't replenished till all 3 are taken away. So eventually, if there's a tile that you need, there's only 1 gem in front of it, then you have to take that one.
Yeah. So it's the balance between those two. Do I take the tile, or do I take a tile that may not help my scoring, but it has the gem I need? And finally, the last thing I'm going to say about this is I like the fact that I'm not forced to play something for scoring. I like that I can do that at the end of the round. I would hate to have to place those gems I just drafted, right then.
Well, the beauty of it is gems can carry over. So if you don't want to use them that round, you can carry over to the following round because, again, once you use them, they're gone. And another nice thing, too, is any unused wild gem in your pool also gives you 1 point at the end of each round. So you're going to basically play over 4 rounds till you build up the entire pyramid, total up your points, and that's the game. So I too, Tony, I think I like this more than the original. I like the added addition of having to draft the gem along with the tile, which just gives a little potential more take that, which is really good in this type of game because it's not a solitary game. Lots of times games like this feel very solitaire. This is not. You actively look around and try to make sure that people can't get the gem or the tile that they want.
Right, because in the original, it was when you drafted a tile, you picked from 2 piles above it to decide which one is going to be available for, in the next round for the player, because there were 3 that they could pick from. That was the only interaction. Here, there's a lot more to that.
Exactly. So between the two, we recommend Pyramido, Forgotten Treasures. This is out now from Synapses Games. It's a quick game, plays 4 players, about 30 to 45 minutes. You and I and Bert, we played a couple games really quick in a row because it resets really easily. A solid game, solid family game too. Check it out.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Here in the U.S., we're celebrating one of the biggest sports events of the year, the college basketball tournament called March Madness. And in honor of this big event, Berkey over at Game Toppers is having a March Madness sale going through the end of April. He has a bunch of overstock clearance items, including some topper packages, and 15% off all accessories, including leg kits, dining covers, and the brand new terrain packs. So if you're looking for a really good deal on one of his game toppers and some accessories to go along with it, like cup holders, the dining covers, mats, then now is the best time to look with this March Madness sale. Again, it's going through the end of April, good sales on overstock items, and 15% off all accessories. To check out the sale, head over to GameToppersLLC.com. At Gen Con, I got to see a preview of the game Video Game Champion from Arcane Wonders. Now, Tony, the pitch was, you're a kid in the 90s and you just want to play some video games. But, as a kid, you may not have some expendable income, so you may have to go beg some money from your parents or make sure you get really good grades to earn like an allowance, or maybe get a gift from the grandparents for some money for the goal of going to the game store to buy a game. Or remember, we could actually go to stores and rent games. Now, for youngins who may be listening to this, yes, you could actually rent a game.
You could. You could go into the thing called a Blockbuster or any video game store or a video store and rent games, and you had X amount of time to play them. This was a great way for you to determine whether or not you wanted to go beg and borrow from your parents, your grandparents, or however, how many yards you needed to mow if you're going to buy it. But you could go and play it and say, this is crap, or no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because toy stores started to figure out that we were opening these things up, discovering they were crap, and taking them back to the store, and they stopped that. They said, enough of that crap, y'all. If you open it, you bought it.
Yeah, I loved renting video games. It was very much a staple. It's really interesting to go to used video game stores, which I do, and a lot of the games will have like a Blockbuster sticker on the back of the cartridge, which nobody wants. Nobody wants a Blockbuster sticker on their cartridge. But it's funny, these games have been in circulation for decades and started out at Blockbuster. So we've got this game here that's kind of mimicking that.
By the way, wait. Just this came to me. I'm sorry. It was also how we were able to catch them all.
Oh, because you could rent Pokemon and somebody had already played it?
Well, yeah, Pokemon was on the shelf, so you could you bought red, and then you went and got blue, and so you would be able, we could then go and get some trades going through that, or you could, figure out some way to trade it. That was well before the opportunity of not having a game, having this online stuff. You actually had to do a Game Boy Link cable.
The Game Boy Link cable. Yes, I remember you and I sitting across from each other with our red and blue copies. It's like, all right, I finally got this one. Let me trade this one to you. What a great game. The idea of having unique Pokemon on each one that you need to find a friend with to trade. And then remember some of the Pokemon, if you trade, they got XP quicker. Yes. When you got them on your system. So they incentivized its trading because they would level up faster.
Yeah. And I watched the show recently on that, and how the gentleman who developed this was actually, and I didn't know this, and it may be crap, but it was on TV. So therefore it could be crap. It was the fact that the guy who developed this was actually one of the things they did growing up as a kid. They would capture bugs and they would have bug fights. They would go out, turn over rocks, and they would have little, what's the pill bugs? Bug fights, that kind of stuff. And he, in Japan, that's what he did. And he pitched it, and it took a little while for Nintendo to latch on to it.
Interesting. Well, I know, I can't remember when did the Tamagotchis come into play? The little pocket things?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I can't remember when that was, because that's the idea, is like little pocket monsters, right? You're growing pocket monsters, stuff like that, but now you get to fight with them. So I miss classic Pokemon. But anyway, this game, Video Game Champion by Andre Negreo and Patrick Mathias, is a 60 to 90 minute game, plays 2 to 5 players. Your goal is to buy or rent a game and to be able to play and beat the game by inputting certain button combos that allow you to actually beat it. So you have these tiles that you're going to set up in a 4x4 grid that range from 0 to 9, and they have 4 different colors. So you have a tile of a color and a value. On your turn, you're going to draft a tile and put it into your play area. But when you draft, you also take an action of the action tile that's either at the top of the column or at the side of the row from where you draft the tile. So you've got a choice of 1 or 2 actions. And that's the actions we were talking about earlier. Try to earn some money, but sometimes when you get money, you get IOUs, which take up your slots because you can only have 8 button tiles in front of you at a time, and IOUs take up those slots, so you might have to turn IOUs back in. Could be an action to visit the game store in order to rent a game. But the goal is to collect a certain combination of tiles to beat the game. Now, Tony, what I loved about the games that you got, they had that 90s art style to it. So the cover of it had that 16-bit era look to it, and have all different types of games, fighting games and racing games and RPGs. But the important part of the card was at the bottom, which showed you a sequence of values that you would need to do to complete the game. For example, it may have A, B, C, D, E, which means you need to have a sequence of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order to beat that game. Now, they could be requiring the same suit or a different suit. But if it's the same suit, it's a harder game to beat. But guess what? You also get more victory points at the end, which is the goal, because as you beat these games, you collect them, and at the very end of 5 rounds, you're going to count up the number of victory points that you've earned by beating games, and the person who has the most points is the video game champion.
Straightforward. Each round, you get 3 chances to go get these numbers out of the tiles. And I'll appreciate what they were doing with this and the feel that they were trying to give you with the video games of, how do I collect all these to get these harder games? Well, there's ways you can go out there and you can rent a game and play it and return it. That's what the theme they're trying to do here. So you get in there and you can discard 2 tiles and say, hey, I've rented this game.
$2?
If it was a new release, $1 if it was old. Because, that old stuff sits on the shelves. We got to get some turnover here. So we're going to reduce the price of that bad boy.
Yes, go ahead. So, yes, $2 for a new release, $1 for an old one. Yep.
That's right. So you go out there, you put that $1 out there, you're renting it, and you go play it. And that lets you put I have played this game token on it, which is now a wild. So let's say it's a way for you to put out multiple I have played this. Get rid of maybe some bad tiles. By the way, you can discard those to get those, but you can never discard loans. You have to take an action to eliminate the loans that you're getting IOUs. Yeah, like my parents said, IOUs. My parents knew I couldn't spell, so they said loans. That's the way it goes. So you're playing it to help you beat this game so that you're not having to collect a whole bunch of tiles to get them in order. Or maybe certain tiles did not show up that you needed, or someone else went and grabbed those tiles from you, but you're having to take a turn to do that.
Yeah, so what the theme of that is, the idea is like you can play a partial game. So maybe it takes 4 buttons to beat a game, but if you can just get 2 of the ones in a sequence, like you said, that earns a play button, that is basically a wild token. That means the next time you play, you can spin that as a substitute for any tile that you don't have. And the more times you play it, the more these wild tokens you have on there to be able to complete the sequence. So I like thematically what they're trying to do. You play it over and over, it eventually gets very easy to beat.
Yeah. And another thing that they're trying to accomplish is during the 90s, there were a ton, and I don't know if there still are any video game magazines.
Oh, yeah. I love video game magazines. I still collect some of those too. But yeah, go ahead. So yeah, another option is
do they still make them?
Well, you remember the one we used to get from just recently, the Game Informer from GameStop?
Yeah.
You remember you could get the electronic version or you can get the physical version, but then was it last year or 2 years ago, they scrapped it. I think that was the last video game magazine. I had a subscription to a lot of magazines, Electronic Game Monthly, EGM, PC Gamer. Yeah, I had that one. So I loved gaming magazines.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, every once in a while, if I find a Nintendo Power that has a game in it I like, I'll buy it and like board and sleeve it.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, shoot. Well, I, of course, got the Commodore magazines, but PC Gamer. Remember when you'd be getting near Christmas and it was like getting the Sears Roebuck toy catalog with PC Gamer. It was huge because of all the ads and everything, or the new computers were coming out and they would do that. Anyway.
Well, get this, but before you leave that, I found the other day the PC Gamer that was the first announcement of Guild Wars 2.
Oh, wow.
I kept it. Yep.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I've
anyway,
gotten rid of all that. Anyway, so you can go out and with that hard-earned money, because it is hard to earn money in this game, you can go out and buy a magazine that you can then use the codes in the magazine to basically help you beat a game, saying, hey, I'm going to read through this magazine and that type of game is in this magazine, like a sports game. The icon is there. It will help me. It's a wild as well. So I've used that magazine. So that's another way to help you defeat these games. Now, Marty mentioned new releases. To indicate that it's a new release, they are putting various colored gems on it. I guess they were like in the last minute saying, what can we do to mark these things? Not real key on how they did this. I know why they did it, but they could have come up with something better. But they put these real big clunky gems on them of different colors so that when you play or finish a game, or buy a new game, or buy a magazine, you get a gem. And these gems go into your password sheet after you use them so that you can now fill out your password sheet to give you additional victory points or additional tiles or whatever. Now, did you have a password notebook?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, we're talking the 90s when I'm playing Lost Vikings. When I got to a level, it's like, yes, I had my notebook to write down the code so I could pick up where I left off.
Right. Enter the code or enter the button pushes to get the code. Yeah, exactly. So all this is helping you complete the game to get to your ultimate goal of most victory points win. Of course, there's objectives at the end, and these are variable at the time. So I guess for me, what I found frustrating at times in this game was the money situation. I need the tiles, but I need to go up here and make sure I get the money so I can then go rent the video games. And it was just kind of a rinse and repeat for me at times.
Sure. Yeah, because like I said, we're playing over, they call it rounds. It's basically thematically, it's 5 weeks and you get 3 turns per week. And so the concept of renting is if I'm renting a game for the week, nobody else can rent it because I have it checked out. And at the end of the week, you take your meeple off that rented game to indicate now it's available for somebody else to rent. And you're racing to rent some of these games because there's also objective cards. It may say, for example, hey, after the game is over, if you've played 3 fighting games, you get some bonus points. So obviously all of us are looking at those going, oh, cool, I see there's a fighting game for rental or to buy, so I'm going to try to hurry up there and get it. But like you, Tony, I also was hurting on money, but that's probably the idea, right? Mm-hmm. You're a kid in the 90s, you just don't have a lot of money, so you got to be very careful with how you spend it. Do I buy that magazine? Do I rent it or just go out and just buy it? And buying it means nobody else can work on it. So that's the benefit. Renting it, somebody can take it from you. That can't happen when you buy it, but everything else works the exact same way.
Right. But you can always go to the store and for taking out 3 IOUs, you can get a present. So your grandparents have come and now you didn't have to go to the store. You actually went to Toys R Us and bought the game.
Right. You begged your grandparents to do it. And then of course, you like I said, you got these IOUs, which you have to work off by being studious and doing your homework and stuff as a thank you, or doing your chores as a thank you to give back. And that allows you to get rid of those IOU tiles that you've collected so that you can get the buttons you need to beat the game. At its core, it's an action selection game with a really cute idea of like you pick the action at the column or the row that you pull the tile from. And then it's really just set collecting, right?
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all you're doing. Set collection.
I talked about doing sequences. Some are if you have 4 the exact same number or 4 the same number, same color. So there's all these combinations that you're trying to achieve depending on the game that you're trying to beat.
Right. So all in all, it's a good family. And I mean, it is a lightweight family game. So for me, it was frustrating at times with the money. It was frustrating that I just, like I've already said, rinsing and repeating. But I think it's a good game to get young kids, to be able to process what do I need to do next? And it can relate to them, other than the fact they don't understand renting video games. But they, but they can relate to doing chores and getting money. And if you go do this, everything's going to cost you. And hey, you're out there playing games. You're doing this right now. Maybe you'll beat the game, maybe you won't. So it helps them work on numbers, colors, all that fun stuff. So it's a good teaching game for younger family members.
It is a light game, and I think it's one of those things that for us who went through the 90s and went through some of this, it created some conversations we were playing. I like the art on the video game cards. I think they look cool. They look like cartridges is what the cards look like. I think the art's really nice. The covers on the magazines look really cool. So I like the aesthetic. I like the feel. But you're right. It is a very light family game. It's not going to be one that gamers are going to sit down and play a lot of. It is kind of a last hour-long filler. If you're looking for something at the end of the night that's pretty light, you could do this. I will say, Tony, for the game, it was a table hog.
Yes.
There was a lot of stuff you had to put out. You're talking about the grid of the buttons, the action tiles around it, a bunch of cards that represent the games in the rental store, which are 15 cards laid out, plus a row for the magazine cards, plus another row for the video games at the store. So for the weight of game, it took up a lot of tables. So if you're going to play, you're going to need some space.
That's it for me, Marty. Any final thoughts on this? Oh, I did like the fact that the cartridges all had the D-pad, which was a repurpose for the Game Boy. I didn't realize that either. The engineer that designed this had to repurpose D-pads out of something. And he needed, he did the Game & Watches for Nintendo. Mm-hmm. On this thing I was watching, and he only had left or right, and he was challenged when he was designing it. He said, I need to move up. I need to move down. It just came to him. I've done this left and right stuff. We need to go up and down. We need to jump.
That's how the D-pad got invented for the NES?
Not invented. He repurposed it. He was something like this. Once again, this may have been a crap show. I don't know. I need to go research it more. It was one of those shows I was watching. Donna wasn't home, and I had it taped on, video games and the history of video games. So who knows?
All right. Look, this is Video Game Champion. It's definitely one of those things where the theme is a lot of fun. I like the actions make sense with the theme. And if you're from the 90s, and you're a 90s kid, and you remember going through all this stuff, then you might want to check this out. Like I said, the art is really cute. It's really great. For a family fun set collecting game, check out Video Game Champion.
Head over to shopportalgames.com for all the information you could need on what's coming out from them this year. There's Bohemians, Neuroshima Hex Battle, which is the redesign for the 2 players to get you into that game. One of those other games that Marty and I really enjoy playing. I wish we had more time putting on the table. Then the historical game, Race to Berlin. Looking forward to hearing about that. I just watched Patton, so I know all about that race to Berlin. You know, Patton just felt like, you know, we just need to keep going through Berlin. And then there's the Age of Galaxy. Build the ultimate galactic empire. Also sign up for any newsletters from Ignacy so that you can be in touch with what's coming out. Or go check out his vlog, over there on YouTube. Sign up for that. Subscribe to that channel so you can get his various pros, what he's thinking, what's on the tip of his tongue. So you know what's happening over at Portal Games. Head over to shopportalgames.com. How'd you do, man? How'd you do? Tell me about it.
Can I tell you how I did last week? Last week was the pre-release for Star Wars Unlimited for Jump to Light Speed, where Marty went 2-1 that bad boy. Woo! That's right. 2-1. So had a good showing. Opened my 6 packs. Built a decent Vader deck. Got that bad boy humming and went 2-1.
Nice.
Today was a draft. This is where you get 3 packs. Take a card, pass, take a card, pass. Went with Luke. So what you're going to find, Tony, is in these types of the pre-release or the draft, 2 of the easier leaders to build decks off of are Darth Vader and Luke, because they're not very specific. Luke is, hey, if you attack with the fighter, exhaust him to deal 1 damage. Vader is, if you deal any damage or anything like that, you can tap him to get a TIE fighter. Some of the other leaders are like, hey, if you played a resistance card this turn, you get this. That's hard to build because then you're looking for resistance cards. You may not get the right stuff. So these 2 are considered the 2 best to build off of. So I built a Luke. I felt really good about it. Promptly went 0-3.
Wow. What happened there?
I don't know. I won the first game of the first match pretty decidedly, and then it just went downhill from there.
Dude.
I don't get it. So I should be pinging things. I was pinging damage left and right. And dude, I played one game where I only got 2 damage on a base because I only got to attack once.
Why?
Every time I got a ship out, my opponent had some answer to get it off the board. I could not keep anything on the board. And I was just so frustrated. Now, all these people are super nice. I've been playing with these people for a week. Everybody's nice and they help each other out. So they're really cool. I mean, the guy even said, dude, I'm so sorry. He said, this is not a smart play for what I'm getting ready to do, but I got to keep the meme going. And he did something to move another one of my really good ships. I went, why? He said, because it's funny. Well, no, it is kind of funny.
That's fair.
But no, it was fun. It was fun. I think they're probably going to do these drafts a few more weeks before they go straight into constructed. But this is a fun set. You and I have our starter decks coming soon from Miniature Market.
Nice.
And so we need to get together for lunches sometime and play that. I was hoping that we could get back and do what we did with Netrun and Lord of the Rings. I guess schedules hadn't worked out. I wanted to play weekly so I could get better. I'm just not playing enough. Mm-hmm. You know, I sit in these tournaments and these guys are talking. They know the cards up and down, left and right, you know, and I'm just not there. I mean, this is a game that definitely skill helps. It's more skill based than luck based than say, like, even the store owner says he feels this is more skill based than what Magic is.
Ooh.
Compared to luck. Here's why. He said, in Magic, you'll always have the mana screw or the mana flood. I've drawn too much mana. I've not drawn enough mana. And he said, when that happens, the lesser player can sometimes at least feel somewhat competitive when the opponent, who may have much better skill, just doesn't get the right draw of mana, right? That's not going to happen in Star Wars. You are always going to have an extra resource every turn, and there's nothing you can stop it. So literally it comes down to, how do you play your cards?
Right. Okay, well, I hate that you got hammered so bad today, but you were strong. So it's interesting. I know Darth and Luke were coming again, and you may not know because you may not have studied the cards. Do you like this Luke better than the original set Luke?
Well, it's just they have different abilities.
Yeah.
And also the original set Luke is one aspect. This is a different aspect.
Oh, okay.
That's another thing too. This one is red, which is very much aggro. Luke's coming in hard. He wants to punch fast. He wants to just ping damage all over the place and win as fast as he can. He's not meant to be a control deck.
Okay. I haven't played in over 2 months, so.
I know. So we need to get together. It was funny. I was thinking on the way home today that I would love just to focus on like a couple games again. Whenever we turn the lights off to RDTN, I probably will not continue doing the buying new board games all the time and playing them. I will be more inclined to focus on a very few handful and play the mess out of them and get really good at them.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so did I just hear the off ramp?
I'm just saying. I mean, we know this ain't going to go on forever. I'm just saying when the lights go, we shut the lights off, that I'm not going to sit there and continue adding game after game after game to my collection. I'm more inclined to say, I really like Star Wars. I want to play it a lot. I want to play with friends and really understand it like we did with Netrunner and Lord of the Rings. Right. Why were we better with that game? Because we thought about it a lot. We played it a lot. We just really understood it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I also thought that 6 months into this, but that's okay. All right. So I just realized something. So I've been muting when I would cough, I would mute the screen so that you wouldn't hear it. And however, it's going to be recorded, so you get to dub that out anyway. Sorry about that, man.
Not if you muted the actual Zoom recorder.
I didn't. I muted the screen.
Yeah, then I have to edit all the coughing out. Yeah, that did no good.
Button on the Zoom recorder.
If you're plugged into input 1, there's a button. It's a button if you toggle it on and off.
Oh yeah, you just did that. Okay. Hold on, let me try.
Mute.
Let me try.
There. See, I can't hear you now.
Well, look at that. That would have worked nice if I had known about that.
Oh, I thought that's what you were pressing. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back and edit out all your coughs. Joy.
Sorry.
Joy.
Well, we can re-record this and shorten it up a bit if you want to do that.
No, I think I'm good.
Are you good with that?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm about out of my drink.
I think there was something else I needed to.
Oh, by the way, we finished. Did you ever finish Pop Culture Jeopardy? It had a good ending to it.
No, I have not. I'm going to have to probably watch that one on my own because Donna doesn't really care for it. And she's not liking the floor this year.
Why?
I don't know.
We are really enjoying. I'm not sure how many episodes you're into it.
I've only seen 2 because, they've.
Okay.
And what was one of the ones there? The lady said, she said, oh, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. She knew nothing. And I forget which one it was. It was in number 2.
Oh,
I know, a lot.
Oh, dude, I don't know. So the last one we watched, they've got to under 50. So that's how many episodes I am ahead of you right now.
And I like how people think, I'm going to game this. I'm going to pick a category so people stay away from me. Well, people say, guess what? We're going to come after you because you may not know that. Who would even know all that, right?
You better know it. There is a person there that have become a favorite of Vanessa and I. I will not say who it is because I'll let you continue watching, but there's a person that we're really pulling for.
It wouldn't be the guy from Clerks, would it?
It is.
Yeah. I just saw that one. He was pretty cool. I liked his battles.
Nerves don't get to him, nor would I expect them to, because he's very much used to being in front of a camera.
Right.
But he just seems like a genuine down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Absolutely. So I'm enjoying the floor again, and hopefully we'll speed up on some of those so we can talk a little bit more about some of the shows and some of the categories that have come up. But yeah, pop culture, I'll have to watch it. I'm a little bit behind. I should be able to catch up. I don't have to watch Blue Bloods anymore. Saw the season ending of that. So, and I know that you've trying to get it scheduled for our movies thing, and you went and saw a movie, the Looney Tunes movie, like you pointed out in your Facebook post that I had no clue was coming out. No clue.
Thursday, I just saw, hey, by the way, this movie comes out. I went, a Looney Tunes movie, and then you go to Rotten Tomatoes, and it's got like 80-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics love it. So I told Vanessa, let's go. So we went, 90-minute movie. It's a solid Looney Tunes movie. Support it. I recommend it.
Okay. So one of the things, growing up, when we talk about pencil fights and everything else on Playground, I just remember the Looney Tunes cartoons were, when we grew up, they didn't have that real big, the word I'm using is colorization. Now, I don't know if you know that kind of 3D effect thing. They're big and bright. I just like that. It's hard for me to put into words, obviously, that it's just that 2D. I enjoy the old dull cartoon view of a Looney Tunes, versus the high gloss. I'm going to call it high gloss.
So this is hand-drawn 2D.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hand-drawn 2D. So this feels and looks like a classic Looney Tunes show. I was very impressed with the voice actor Eric Bauza, who does the voice of Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. I thought his Daffy Duck was really, really good. And I'm surprised that I thought this isn't spoiling anything, but I thought this movie is going to be just full of cameos of other characters. It's not. It's literally just them. It's a story about just those two, and it was solid.
Okay. I'll see if I can get Donna to the theater to watch the Looney Tunes. She'll go, what are we seeing? I'll say Looney Tunes, and she'll say, why? And I'll say, because we need to.
Nostalgia.
Maybe I'll sneak out of work or something. No one will miss me.
And what's really bad, though, is did you hear about the Wile E. Coyote movie that was shelved after it was made? They made a tax write-off on it. So there was a movie made, and Warner Brothers decided, I think we're going to, instead of releasing this and marketing, we're just going to take a $30 million tax write-off and never release it.
Okay.
Let me tell you the premise of the movie. So you remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Cartoon characters in real life.
Yeah.
So, okay. It was going to be that. Here's the premise. Wile E. Coyote hires a lawyer to sue Acme Corporation for all the damages he's taken over. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that brilliant? And there's a scene of him sitting with his lawyer in a courtroom and stuff. I'm like, this is gold. Why would you not release this?
Because a lot of people wouldn't know about all the Acme stuff, because when you watch a Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoon, it's now 13 seconds. Because we can't show Wile E. Coyote falling off a cliff or getting blown up or any of that other stuff, because people on TikTok would try to do it.
Okay, I got to give him credit. This movie has some of the Looney Tunes violence in it.
Good. It should. It's a movie.
Yes.
Versus a Saturday cartoon where you and I knew, hey, if you jump off a freaking cliff, you're not going to survive.
So, you know, Mark Roper, the engineer, he did a really good video. I posted on our Discord channel of him doing a test between Tesla that uses cameras for autopilot and other cars that uses LiDAR, which is like radar, but instead uses light.
Yeah, we use LiDAR constantly.
And his big test was a wall that's painted like the road. He said, this is straight from Wile E. Coyote. Will either car detect that it's a wall painted like a road? Watch it. It's worth watching.
I'll go watch it. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. It would be like, or a tunnel. A black tunnel. Oh my gosh.
Yes. He paints something on it, and Roadrunner runs through it, and he hits the wall. Then he stands up, and then a train comes out and hits him. It's brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
Oh, and we could go on and on. One of my favorites was, there's tons of Wile E. and Roadrunner. When he gets the Acme portable hole. Reminds me so much of Portal. And the Roadrunner's got the hole, and he keeps dropping it on him. It's just, Are
those available on Blu-ray anywhere, I wonder? Just for nostalgia's sake, just to keep...
I have no idea.
They got to be available somewhere, right?
Somebody's got to have more. It's going to be somewhere in a collector's place.
All right, I will have to go to Amazon and look that up.
All right, well, I'm going to spend a few minutes here before I say it's time to get out of here and keep rolling dice. I'm going to talk a little bit about... I was fortunate enough to upgrade my eWin chair, my old champion, to a new champion. Marty's been telling me about this for a while, and there's one thing I wrote up a quick blog on it, but there's one thing that has nothing to do with the chair and just shows the type of company eWin is. They're looking for small ways to improve it. Yes, the magnetic pillow rest, top of the line, it doesn't move, probably way more comfortable. The pillow's not snapping off the back and flying across the room. Brilliant. I appreciate that they did that. But when I was unpackaging the box from it, I'm like, okay, I open it up and there is this toolkit in there and the Allen wrench that it snaps into it and it has a handle. Marty did not reference this for me. He knows what I'm talking about. So if you go purchase an eWin, you be sure to use our affiliate link on our website as well as the RDTN code to get you 30% off. Yep. There's that beautiful thing. It's an Allen wrench. Then the pieces, snap. It flips to an Allen wrench. It flips to a screwdriver. The thing is now in my toolbox.
It's not a screwdriver. It's an Allen wrench on both sides.
It's an Allen wrench on both. Oh, okay. I thought, that's right.
Just one's smaller than the other.
But guess what? I have some very long tools, two really long bits.
I was going to say, I bet this is I bet it's a standard size bit that'll work in this bad boy.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, this is nice.
This is very nice. And I'm like, okay, why is this so important? First off, it knocked off easily 15 to 30 minutes off assembly time. They say it takes 30 minutes to assemble this thing. Yeah. Don't you hate doing those Allen wrenches where you got to turn it with your finger and you're hitting the butt and it's just slipping off constantly?
Yep.
What a pain in the butt. Well, they took care of you there. And I was like, way to go, Ewan. Little things like that.
I saw in your blog post you referenced the magnetic pillow.
Yeah.
Isn't that a better idea than what you thought it was going to be?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, how can this be such a big deal? It's a huge deal.
The reason why is because the previous one which had a strap, I was always had to move it up. Mm-hmm. The strap would let it slide down. This is a really strong magnet. I've never had to adjust this headrest.
Yeah, and like I just said, I don't know if you could hear me when you were walking, or the pillow goes flying across the room because the snap comes off. I have to go pick it up.
I'm sorry, you mentioned this. Yeah. I got up and walked across the room when you were talking.
And then,
sorry about that.
I know. And then I will say, not everything is golden. I'll admit I haven't gotten that lumbar support. That's the only thing I haven't figured out yet is the lumbar. I don't use the pillow at all because of how long my legs are from that standpoint. But the lumbar adjustment, I haven't figured out where those need to be yet. But this one has it. The old chair doesn't.
No, I dialed that in pretty early because my back gets sore sometime. And it's like, I just found that right spot. Just like, oh, yeah, when I lean back, it feels good.
Yeah. So they had some sales recently for St. Patty's Day. Based on the price, you got 10%, 20% off, depending on the cost of the chair or the accessory. RDTN code, 30% off, best in the biz. Go over there to eWin. There will be a link in the blog that will take you straight there, affiliate code. We really do appreciate it. So eWin, thank you so much. The chair is incredibly comfortable, firm, exactly what I need. With that, I'm going to say keep rolling dice.
And taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Don't forget, we are giving away a copy of East India Companies. Just head over to our Discord channel, look for the contest, give a thumbs up, and you're good. You can find that information over at RollDiceTakeName.com, along with all of our social media links.
On the next show, I need to remember something, Marty.
Okay.
How long do you expect people to retain rules that you've taught them?
So wouldn't you put that in the show notes so that we don't forget? Because there's no way in 2 weeks I'll remember that question.
Hey there, Hugh from Podderation here. If you like today's show, why not check out Make Believe Heroes, a family-friendly D&D show for all ages. Join our eclectic, lovable cast as they explore the world of Manumi and beyond in a show that's designed for everybody to be able to enjoy. If you'd like to hear more, check out our website at podderation.com.